He's another one of the outstanding young coaches in the National Football League. Andre Coleman and Will Blackwell are the deep backs on the return. We are underway in the rain. And out of the end zone here is Blackwell. Probably a bit of a misconception. He had it in the end zone. He could have downed it. He didn't want to take a chance. He'll bring it out to the 14 where Killens makes the tackle. Now, this man will not be playing today.
Yeah, deactivated, is not going to have a chance at Jerome Foster's team rushing record. Is going to rest, save himself. Jerome Bettis on the sideline for the day. He is replaced by George Jones. That's Barry Foster's record. He is replaced by George Jones. So the bus is in the garage today.
I've got a great quote for the bus I want to pass on in a moment. But first things first, from the 14-yard line, it is first down.
Wide open.
Goes deep and overthrows just by a step. Thigpen, he was 15 yards behind everybody. We thought they'd come out running. I think the Oilers thought the same thing.
Well, this is a perfect way to start the game. It's a fake reverse. Everybody, a good job of disguising the ball, and he just overthrows Yancey Thigpen, who gets right by the corner. The corner bites that it's a reverse, slips, and Thigpen, who's had a sensational season, you know, with the wind, you got to blame that a little bit on the wind, but you can see that the Bill Cowher's choice get one on the board early.
So it is 2nd and 10. And now back to the running attack that we expect to see. This is George Jones. Well, let's take a look at the offensive set of the Pittsburgh Steelers. First, here is their offensive line.
I think best offensive line collectively in the NFL. Jim Sweeney at right tackle. His second start ever at right tackle. His first was last week.
Backs and receivers.
And Cordell Stewart and Yancey Thigpen have had just marvelous seasons for Pittsburgh.
George Jones, the rookie taken in the 5th round of the draft out of San Diego State. Everybody in Southern California were surprised that he lasted that long. He is a good young running back.
He's also about 40 pounds lighter than Jerome Bettis. It's a little different running game when he's in there.
Yeah, he's a taxi cab. He's not the bus. Pass is incomplete. So it will be 3 and out. Blackwell, the intended receiver. And Bowden had the coverage on him for the Oilers. So the Steelers will be kicking it away.
If something were really at stake in this game, and it's not for the Pittsburgh Steelers, field position would play a huge key. And you would like the opening kickoff, if it's in the end zone, just down it, take it out at the 20s, you said, Charlie. But 3 downs and out to start.
Derek Mason is the return man. He'll stay away from it. He was in the Tennessee territory at about the 48-yard line. 39 yards on the kick. There's no return. And the quarterback for the Tennessee Oilers is Steve McNair and their offensive line.
Led by Bruce Matthews, again a Pro Bowl selection, his 10th straight Pro Bowl selection.
Backs and receiver.
Eddie George. He is the man for the Tennessee Oilers. Although the Steelers, the last time these two teams met, just absolutely cold-cocked Eddie George. He only had 29 yards rushing.
Oilers starting from their own 48-yard line. And they start as expected with Eddie George. Let's look at that defense now of the Steelers. The front three.
Has played beautifully. They start 3, but they play about 6 or 7 different guys in this 34 zone blitz defense. Linebackers and defensive backs. Point out Carnell Lake for you. 8 starts at corner this week. 8 starts at corner this year. 8 starts at safety. Today, again at corner.
2nd down and 9. Is unable to slip a tackle. He'll be dropped to the 50-yard line. So in the first 2 running plays, they've gathered only a couple of yards. It's going to be 3rd down and 8 as Henry makes the tackle.
Kevin Henry. Look at what Eddie George has done over the last 2 seasons. Rookie of the year last year. This year, fewer carries, more yards per game. He is sensational. The best thing about Eddie George, with all he's carried the ball in the first 2 seasons, no real injuries. Protects himself well. Goes to the chiropractor and 4 days a week, and also gets a massage 4 days a week to stay fresh and healthy.
6'3", right at 240 pounds.
But blitz coming.
Blitz does come. Out to the far side is incomplete. Willie Davis, the intended receiver. So, like the Steelers, the Oilers 3 and out. Chad Scott, that's the rookie cornerback, your #1 draft choice for the Steelers. Everybody picks on him.
Yeah, and you see the blitz again, trying to create confusion. And Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers, uses this to just make the quarterback read the defense as he's dropping away from the center. And they have blown up an awful lot of football teams with this style of defense, Charlie.
Reggie Roby will kick it away. He gets a bad one off, but a good roll. It'll be down at the 9-yard line. So we have no score. We're about 3 minutes into the ball game. We'll be back in just a moment. Steeler fans out in force all over town, all over Memphis last night. They are here with the weather, Pittsburgh weather, and with the fans. It feels like a home game for the Steelers.
Absolutely it does. Yeah, I think the Oiler fans have already gone home.
They start from their own 9-yard line. George Jones will get the call. Let's look at that Tennessee defense.
Not a bad defense, probably a pretty unknown defense. Here's the leading sacker for the team, second in the NFL as a rookie sacker behind Peter Bulwer of the Baltimore Ravens.
Linebackers in secondary.
Walker again makes a start, his 11th of the season because of an injury to Steve Jackson. That's a vulnerable group, and Blaine Bishop, of course, goes to the Pro Bowl.
Second down, 9. Stewart to throw all the time in the world. And this one is picked off. It is intercepted by Joe Bowden. And Stewart had tons of time.
Yeah. Charlie, I think Bowden's deep drop really, here's Bowden right here. He's going to make the interception. Watch how deep he drops. He's eventually going to get back there. See how deep he is? He's almost 20 yards deep. And Cordell Stewart was looking to the right. And Bowden just with a good, nice, deep drop, put himself in front of that receiver for the pickoff. And if there's one thing wrong with Cordell Stewart, he has thrown some interceptions. That's his 17th of the season so far.
Bowden's first interception of the season. George tries the right side. Myron Bell with the tackle at about the 13-yard line, inside the 20.
You can see the percentage has gone up dramatically in the last 10 games. And just like the Pittsburgh Steelers, Steve McNair has been more involved. He'll run inside the 20. And that's the value that a running quarterback, an athletic quarterback has to an offense. There's 11 guys to defend inside the 20.
On the draw, the run blitz was waiting for Eddie George, led by Joel Steve.
And Nolan Harrison, number 74. Another great call by Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator. You're going to see pressure coming from everywhere because of this defensive backfield of the Pittsburgh Steelers and its terrific talent. The front seven, there's Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator. The front seven is put in blitz a lot, and you see how well they've done against running the ball. 18 straight games without a 100-yard rusher. That's remarkable.
Rodney Thomas is now the remaining back on third down. A little swing right flat to Thomas. He's going to work his way back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. So in 3 plays, in reality, the Oilers end up losing about a half a yard. So it'll be 4th down and a field goal attempt by Al Del Greco.
Yeah, that was Chris Oldham, number 24, out there in the flat to make the tackle. He was 1 of 2 right in front of him. So and you're right. Again, the Steelers outstanding after the turnover.
Dave Craig is the holder. From the 24-yard line, an attempt at 34 yards. Good snap, good hold. And it's through for 3. So Al Del Greco hits from 34 yards away, and Tennessee has the early lead. 7 remaining first quarter. Tennessee with the early 3-0 lead. Andre Coleman, number 19, and Will Black, number 89, are the two deep backs. That, of course, was set up as Joe Bowden picked off Cordell Stewart's pass. That is the 17th time he has been intercepted this year. He has thrown for 21 touchdowns. And here's Coleman on the return. Little stutter step. Nice dodge move. Cuts to the outside. Ball comes loose. Steelers may have recovered it as they dive back on top of it. Terry Killens makes the play. 16 yards on the return. Don't forget, coming up next on NBC, Game 2 of our doubleheader. It's a win and you're in situation for Bill Parcells' Jets. The playoff-hungry Lions, the same situation, each needing a victory to ensure themselves of a postseason slot. The Jets clinch a playoff berth with a win, eliminated with a loss. Lions with a win, they're in, or a Redskins loss or a Vikings loss. There's always another possibility.
Always. I'll make this comment, too. I don't think there's a more difficult team to have to beat in one game to get into the playoffs than Barry Sanders and the Detroit Lions.
Oh, you're right. And the ticker going by with some of the early scores to bring you up to date as George Jones gets the call. And here Tennessee is leading the Pittsburgh Steelers by a score of 3-0.
Well, we mentioned Jerome Bettis is not going to break Barry Foster's single season rushing record established several years ago. He's 26 yards shy, and Bettis prefers to get healthy for the playoffs. How about that for a team choice?
I love his quote, too. He said, somebody asked him how he would tackle himself. He said, well, my first thought was to go low, but I'd probably have to go high for pride's sake. And he said, but probably I'd just run over myself. And he probably would.
Well, the one thing you got to like about Jerome Bettis, along with his athletic talent, always has a smile on his face. I mean, even in extreme pain, he has a smile on his face. One of the most engaging young men you'll find in the NFL.
Meanwhile, an official's timeout for a measurement as the change will come across. Interesting second game between the Jets and Detroit.
Interesting?
Interesting, yes. Two teams. Would you have figured at the beginning of the season that they would both be in this situation?
Absolutely
Come down to the last Sunday afternoon?
No, absolutely not.
Bobby Ross has done a great job at Detroit. Bill Parcells has done the job that everybody knows about with the New York Jets. That'll be a fun one. That'll be a fun one to watch at home. Cordell Stewart, by the way, a very slow start as far as the throwing arm is concerned. He is 0 for 3 and has an interception. And George Jones replacing Jerome Bettis, starting at the running back, has carried 4 times for 10 yards. And as you see, it's third down and short. Just a little quarterback sneak should pick it up. And remember what Bill Cowher said about the quarterback sneak and Cordell Stewart. He said he felt that it's the best quarterback for that play that he has ever had or ever seen.
Yeah, and the reason is that Cordell Stewart appreciates the hesitation.
Yeah.
You see, he doesn't just dive in there. The little hesitation, wait for the line to get some kind of push, and then he can find a spot. Cordell Stewart is a big kid.
Yes, he's
very
6'2",
athletic.
about 215, 220. Yeah.
Very athletic, hips, thighs. I mean, very strong kid for a quarterback.
Johnson starts in motion, comes back. Little play action fake, rolling, setting, again going deep behind the defense with a diving grab is Charles Johnson.
That was a beauty. Oh, he said,
they're going to call it off. They're going to call it off.
Well, 2 officials say it's no catch, and listen to the crowd here in the Liberty Bowl. You can hear the boos. They're all Steeler fans. Lays out, catches the back end of the football. And Walker is in our way, number 25. Can't really tell from that angle if it was a catch or not. Again, catches the back end of the football. Well, in these conditions and that kind of effort, they ought to give it to him.
Explain how hard it is to catch the back end of the football.
Oh, the ball is spinning, and you see he catches the back end of the football. And, of course, it's a little wet, so it slips through your hand. Tremendous strength in the fingers and concentration on the football.
Now back to the ground. Here's George Jones. Bowden with the tackle for the Oilers. So twice in the ballgame, Stewart has gone deep, and both times very close to a 50 or 60-yard play.
Yeah, overthrew Thigpen on the first snap of the game, offensive snap of the game, and then almost a catch there by Johnson. Why not? you know, you got this thing wrapped up. Let's not make it difficult to try to get something quick on the board. I don't blame him for doing that. The other thing is, with the Bettis out of the ball game, it changes the personality of the team. So our receivers can get down the field. Let's show those playoff opponents that we will throw the ball deep.
Now from the shotgun, 3rd down and 5. Blitz is coming. This pass is complete to Thigpen. Went up, pulled it down, picks up the 1st down. Steelers have possession, 17 yards and the 1st down. Walker with a tackle.
Now you're going to see good pressure here on Cordell Stewart. Blitz is coming, an untouched man. Stewart can take the hit. And then Thigpen has had a sensational season. Just a little hook right inside Walker, number 25. Watch, the ball is stripped away. But that's the way the ball bounces when you are the way the Steelers are 11-4. It all bounces your way, comes right back to Thigpen. He maintains possession.
Jim Sweeney is the injured player back at the 32-yard line for the Steelers. He is the starting right tackle. In reality, he is the 3rd right tackle. They're very thin. We'll step aside, back in a moment.
You've been quiet. I was talking.
Tennessee has 0 yards, and Pittsburgh has 35. The magic of numbers.
You figure it out.
1st down Steelers. Wiggins now is the right tackle. And here's George Jones.
Charlie, we go back to the previous play for the injury on Sweeney. He's being attended to on the sideline. Here's Sweeney right here. Darrell Lewis comes on the blitz on the other side. Sweeney's just doing his job, blocking the defensive end. But Darrell Lewis knocks Cordell Stewart into the left leg of Sweeney, who was replacing Justin Strelzik. And Strelzik's backup, who is Stevens, is also hurt. And now they're down to their 4th offensive right tackle.
Jones again. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of this, and George Jones is very happy about it. Here's a rookie out of San Diego State who he's been averaging like 4 carries a ball game coming into this game. He has 214 yards rushing and 56 carries. Already has 7 carries in the ball game, and he's picked up 20 yards.
Yeah, and that is not the George Jones who's most famous for "He stopped loving her today." George Jones.
If it is, we have a scoop.
No. We're in Memphis. You know, we're in Tennessee.
That's right.
This is the George Jones out of San Diego State.
3rd down and 5. Stewart from the shotgun. Pass is complete to Curtis Marsh. Darrell Lewis had the coverage for Tennessee.
Charlie, point I got to make on that play again. Great pressure by Tennessee, but you saw Cordell Stewart just stand right in there, wait for the receiver to come open. Again, watch the pressure. Stewart knows where he's going. Has a decent pocket, good tall quarterback, throws high, all the things you want in a quarterback.
1st down, 31-yard line. Jones again trying to get to the outside. Defense very well by Tennessee. Led by Gary Walker, the left tackle. They just try to string him out.
Yeah. Of course, with Jerome Bettis in the ball game, the Steelers average 160 yards rushing a game. That is the #1 rushing offense in the NFL. But with George Jones, there's not the same authority back there. The Tennessee Oilers defensive front 7 realize this is not a bus. This is not even a mini bus. This is like a golf cart, so we can get this guy on the ground.
The fullback is Tim Lester, and he has only 2 carries thus far this season. Flag is down. Ball is knocked out of Stewart's hand. Play will come to a screeching halt.
Prior to the snap, ball start, offense. Number 79, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
Phil Luckett's the referee. I think that's the first time we've had this crew this year.
I agree with you, and that's call is on Paul Wiggins, the rookie out of Oregon, who is now at right tackle replacing Jim Sweeney. Now that's going to happen. That's going to happen. There's Sweeney still being attended to on the sideline. It would be a shame if Sweeney's hurt, can't somehow be a part of the playoffs. from the Pittsburgh area, went to Pittsburgh, comes back with the Steelers, signs as a utility offensive lineman, long snapper, gets hurt in the final game of the season. That would be a real tragedy.
11th play of the drive. Stewart sets up very quickly, throws, and it is incomplete. Just out of the reach of Mark Bruner, the tight end, and he's just a little off today in the rain.
Well, yeah,
just a little off.
Sure, and I think that's to be expected. Sets up well. And you can see the strength of the arm. Bounces right off the face mask of Blaine Bishop. Takes a chip out of that red bar down there across his nose. That's how hard he threw it.
By the way, the phones are out on the sideline, both sidelines, due to the rain and the water and all of that. So we don't have an injury report, official report for you yet from the Steelers. But as soon as we have that, we'll pass it on. Pittsburgh has converted 3 of 4 third down opportunities. The blitz is coming.
Oh, it's there.
Here's the delay. Outside is there to McAfee. Down the sideline and out of bounds. Nice play.
Totally uncovered, Charlie.
Is he the hot receiver off of the blitz?
No. That was a screen. That was a screen all the way. Beautifully done. See him drift out here? Somebody just drops him. That is set up for a screen. Beautifully done. There is no coverage whatsoever.
Is that a lonesome screen? Because he didn't have anybody out there with him.
Yeah, but I think what happened is a couple of offensive linemen were held up at the line of scrimmage, so he was out there by himself, and someone blew the coverage by the Tennessee Oilers, and he's the lonesome receiver out there.
It's a new innovation by Bill Carr, the lonesome screen. First down, 11-yard line into the end zone, and it is incomplete. Bruner, the intended receiver, nice defensive coverage by Baron Wortham, who was back with him all the way, the middle linebacker.
Yeah, he did an excellent job. Here's the matchup right here. Wortham stays right with him. Stewart has great faith in the receivers, tries to put it up there, and Bruner gets his hands on it, but Baron Wortham stays right with him to knock the ball away.
He's got great. He loves his arm. He'll stick it in there when maybe he shouldn't. You know, he's great confidence. That was the word.
And I think great quarterbacks have great confidence.
And here's what the Steelers have done inside the 20 in the red zone.
Spectacular.
Good protection again. Back underneath the coverage to the 5-yard line. The pass is complete to C.J. Charles Johnson has it at the 5. Bishop with the tackle.
That graphic, Pittsburgh's success inside the 20, right on him, right on Cordell Stewart. When you have a guy who will run from the position of quarterback as well as throw, can roll, it puts so much pressure on a defensive coordinator and the entire defense to try to contain a Cordell Stewart. That inside the 20 in that scoring zone, he's almost lethal every time they're there.
Third down.
Might run here, Charlie.
Throws knocked away. It is incomplete. So the Oiler defense holds the Steelers. Walker knocks it down.
Oilers defense comes with a little stunt. Walker goes outside, and Stewart is trying to look like it was Thigpen right on the goal line, but Walker just gets his hands up. Isn't that amazing how many times that ball doesn't hit the arm?
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
From the 13-yard line, a field goal attempt of 23 yards for Norm Johnson. This is for the tie. Norm is at 20 of 23 this year, well within his range. It is up and through, and we are tied at 3. We'll be back with the kickoff in a moment. Remaining in the first quarter, the NFL season extends to the World Wide Web on NFL.com, the league's official website. Visit NFL.com for all the scores and stats, including a complete roundup of this weekend's scores and action. Plus, chat live with some of the NFL's biggest stars. It's all at NFL.com. I always wondered who writes this. Chat live with some of them.
I don't know.
You could just say chat with some of them, I think.
I'm going to do the Super Bowl on the internet. Can you imagine that?
Can we chat with you?
Absolutely. You can chat with me, Charlie.
Good.
Anytime you want.
Is he going to be Trumpy? NFL.
No.
NFL.Trumpy? All right, here's the kickoff. Not a lot on the return for the Oilers, but they have the ball as we go to New York for an update.
All right. right, Charlie. At Minnesota, an early Colts touchdown has been countered. Randall Cunningham from 16 yards out. Chris Carter, great catch at the back of the end zone for the score to tie this game at 7. If Washington wins, the Vikings need a win to make the postseason, and right now, the Redskins lead the Eagles 14-7. Charlie?
And, Greg, that ties right into what Bob Trumpy's been talking about.
Athletic quarterbacks, Randall Cunningham, one of the best.
Yes.
Of course, Jeff Fisher understands as one of those defensive guys, how difficult it is to defense an athlete quarterback. McNair is certainly one of the best. Cordell probably the best.
Rodney Thomas, the kickoff return man for the Oilers, and this one is knocked away by Jason Gilden. This is looking more like a basketball game with all these rejections of the basket.
Yeah, Charlie, Gilden is untouched. He's up here. Somebody misses him completely. Gilden at 6'4½". McNair has no chance whatsoever to get that ball off over the outstretched arms of Jason Gilden. Yeah, there have been a lot of tips so far.
He leads the Steelers in passes defended with 11.
This is a difficult defense to play against. Blitz again.
It is picked up, going deep, and it is incomplete. Ever so close. Excellent coverage by Chad Scott on Willie Davis.
Yeah, he's the rookie cornerback. A good protection. You see everybody picked up by the Oilers offensive line and running backs. McNair, a very strong arm, and this is outstanding coverage by Chad Scott. I tell you what, that's a great throw. That was right on target. Absolutely. Too. And the wind is blowing down there. The ball is wet. Time of possession, Pittsburgh more than 9 minutes, creeping up on 4. But no yards, and they are tied at 3-3. McNair slips a tackle, picks up a screen block from one of the officials, runs into the umpire. That's Ron Botchin. That uses him as a blocker. That's the value of Steve McNair. Watch what happens to the umpire here. But McNair, the second leading rusher for the Tennessee Oilers, even the umpire can't get him on the ground. And he was just trying to get out of the way. I don't blame him. There are a lot of people chasing McNair. So we'll take the countdown to the end of the first quarter as Cordell Stewart looks on. And after the first quarter, we are tied at 3. As we start the second quarter, we were talking about this a moment ago. Well, let's go a little more details. The regular season wraps up. Postseason kicks off. Superbowl.com. The NBC teams up with the NFL and IBM to produce the game's official website, a sneak peek at our plans for San Diego, as well as a complete playoff analysis, plus try out our game arcade and win a trip for 2 to the IBM Drive to the Super Bowl sweepstakes. It's all on the internet at superbowl.com. Now you're going to be part of that. Yes, Gil Brandt is also, and IBM and the NFL is looking for an active quarterback to be the third member of our crew. Looking forward to it. An active quarterback. The Oilers attacking the right side offensively. Bruce Matthews in that offensive line, number 74 for the Oilers. His 11th trip to the Pro Bowl. There was some concern about whether Bruce would come back. This kid was drafted in 1983. This year, his 10th trip to the Pro Bowl. This year, his family stayed in Houston, where he's going to live when he retires. Next year, they're coming up here with him. So it looks like Bruce Matthews is going to play another season in the NFL. I'm glad. Eddie George off the left side, and he goes out to the 50-yard line. We've got a flag. And I mentioned that 83 draft. You see Bruce Matthews here, along with John Elway, Dan Marino, Darrell Green. I was shocked to hear Jeff Fisher say yesterday when I asked him, who's the best athlete on your team? I expected him to say Steve McNair. He said Bruce Matthews. He is the backup punter. He is a long snapper, a great basketball player, one of the most competitive people I've ever met in my life.
Defense number 84, 10 yards, still second down.
From Willie Davis.
One of the most competitive people I've ever met in my life, and not him, his entire family. His brother Clay has 5 kids. Bruce and his wife have 5 kids, and he has threatened to have a 6th just so he has more than his brother Clay.
But the question is, how competitive is his wife? Second down. Pressure on McNair. Rolls away from him. Sets and throws it away. And he was outside of the tackle, so you can do that. And he avoids the loss as the scores go by. The Giants shutting out Dallas in the second quarter by a score of 10-0. So the Giants look as if they will end on a high note. Cincinnati, they keep rolling along.
Now there's Bruce Matthews on Keevan Henry. And of course, with the role of the quarterback, the offensive lineman never knows where the quarterback is, but Keevan Henry gets the hit on Steve McNair. Keevan Henry, now most famous for that interception last week. What a play.
Yes. Yes.
What an extraordinary play, and what an unlikely guy to come up with an interception.
And also, you have diagnosed that play, looked at the tapes, and that wasn't Bledsoe's problem, was it? Wasn't his fault. We got a timeout and a flag, but that wasn't. Nobody could have completed it. It was a perfect defensive call.
Absolutely.
Prior to the timeout signal, delay of game, offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Now, this is what drives every head coach absolutely nuts. But one of the problems when you play the Steelers is that they move around so much. There's a lot of audibilizing out there by the quarterback, and it does take a little extra time.
3rd down and 19. Here comes the blitz off of the corner and the side. Jason Gildon. He had a straight shot. Nobody picks him up.
Yeah, and from the other side comes Chris Oldham. And as I said, here's Oldham right here, and here's Gildon on the inside, and they're both right there. What happened is Oldham kind of directs Steve McNair inside right into Jason Gildon for the sack. An amazing thing about this Steeler football team, 18 different players have sacks. 18.
Reggie Roby to kick it away. Will Blackwell is the return man. They'll mark it out at around the 38-yard line. 13:39. Time remaining. First half tied at 3. 36, Jerome Bettis, well, is in the garage. He is inactive today. They just want him to get healthy for the playoffs. And that bus is headed towards San Diego. And speaking of headed towards San Diego, in addition to the bus not playing the game, a couple of key injuries to the Steelers. We'll update those for you in just a moment. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, George Jones continues to carry. This is on tape just a moment ago.
Yeah, Dermontti Dawson, the all-pro center, is limping off of the field. It's a left calf injury. Looks pretty severe at that point. And Myslinski is in at center. You have Sweeney out with an injury. And his replacement is a young man without a great deal of experience. Paul Wiggins, a rookie. So 2 of the 5 starters now missing from that wonderful offensive line.
2nd down and 9. Here's John Whitman. That is only the 4th time that the fullback has carried the ball this year. He is stopped by Kenny Holmes.
Getting a little more size in that offensive backfield.
Whitman, 6'1", around 240 pounds. Played his collegiate ball at Penn State.
Charlie, a report on Tom Myslinski playing center for Dermontti Dawson. Myslinski has played a little bit of center this year, kind of in a cleanup role, so he does have some experience, but you're missing 2 sensational offensive linemen here.
3rd down and 7. Now he's snapping in the shotgun just to add to his difficulty. Pretty good snap. Stewart has pressure, just avoids it, makes an outstanding downfield move. He is unbelievable. In addition, I enjoy watching him. I love watching him perform. We visited with him last night, and he just lights up the room when he comes in. And he sat down. He didn't want to leave, but we were just chatting away.
Always has a smile on his face. Not afraid to run the ball, but he's looking to throw. Senses the pressure. You see a lot of quarterbacks go feet first. No, I'm going right between them. You know, the thing I like about Cordell Stewart, he signed an autograph for a young man in our room last night, has a happy face underneath his signature. That's his general attitude.
Fumble on the snap. It is picked up by the Oilers. Tennessee has the ball. Henry Ford was right there. And that was the miscue between Myslinski and the quarterback, Cordell Stewart.
Except that's about the 4th or 5th snap they've had. It's kind of unusual to have it the 4th or 5th snap. Generally, it happens in the first one. See if we can pick up if Cordell moves out. No, that's on the center. Cordell was right in there. It looked to me like because there was a guy right on Myslinski's nose that the snap was short. That is, he didn't get the ball up far enough. He had to block quickly. And he just kind of rolled out of there a little bit. Picked up by the Oilers. Second turnover of the game by Pittsburgh. And the Oilers with great field position.
Tennessee has 3 points, and those 3 points came off of an early interception. Offensively, they really haven't been effective at all. McNair sets, throws, has his man, and he hits him. Nice pass right on target at the 20-yard line. A gain of 18 yards on the play.
And to Joey Kent, someone they want to get more involved. Excellent pass protection here by the Oilers. Good play fake. And you see it, McNair just steps up a little bit. Look how strong that arm is. I mean, that was one of those rifle shots out to the sideline.
Kent, the rookie from Tennessee, taken in the 2nd round of the draft. The Oilers now have 18 yards passing and 18 yards rushing. A little slow on the handoff to Rodney Thomas. Still manages to get inside the 20.
Charlie, where's Eddie George? There's Myslinski on the sideline. The muffed snap between him and the quarterback. What's wrong with Eddie George? Why is he not in the ball game?
An outstanding question. And when you're at the Super Bowl, I will call on superbowl.com and ask you that.
Well, hopefully we can find out before that.
Maybe just a breather?
I don't think so.
3-step drop. Pass is complete at the 12-yard line. Going on the quick out to Derek Mason. A couple of yards shy of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and short. Cornell Lake with the tackle. Man of many positions. Man of many positions. But on 2 successive throws, Derek Mason, a rookie out of Michigan State, makes a catch. Joey Kent, a rookie out of Tennessee, makes a catch. And you can see that Jeff Fisher wants to see exactly what he's got at wide receiver for next season. Well, and that may be the same situation as running back, because the report that we just got is Eddie George is okay. He's just not in the ballgame right now. And so looking towards next year, perhaps looking at who his backups are to see if he needs any help in that position. This pass is complete to Derek Mason. A flag is down. And now we have some exchange of holiday pleasantries going on at the 12-yard line. You know, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you. A humbug, perhaps, and a personal foul. Against the Oilers. Yes. Jeff Fisher was just lobbying it. Look, we got the first down. We'll take the penalty after the play. See if it's on Runyon.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness on the offense. Number 69. 15 yards. Still 3rd down.
No, they call it as a continuing foul and not a dead ball foul. Yeah, what Jeff Fisher is saying is that the catch is made. The guy is stopped, and there's the hit. And the hit is on Cornell Lake right in the back. Not a particularly good penalty by Runyon. And of course, the players come to the defense of Cornell Lake. That's Nolan Harrison right up in the face. I agree with Jeff Fisher. That should have been a first down, and then mark it off 15 and be 1st and 25. As it is, it's going to be 3rd and at least 15. And I didn't see that much of a personal foul floating around in that replay. Maybe something else. But he pushed him from the back. Well, that's okay as long as you don't get caught. but he got caught, right? He got caught. And Jeff Fisher is lobbying with the sideline official that was not a continuation of the play. The player was on the ground and should have been a first down. 3rd down. It's comes the blitz up the middle. It is picked up. Jumping to the outside, the 20, the 15. It's Rodney Thomas. And he goes hopping into the end zone. Rodney Thomas scoring his 3rd touchdown of the year. 25 yards. A bit of a surprise. The run blitz was coming right up the middle.
Watch the block by Joey Kent out here on the right. Bam, right there. Cuts the legs out from underneath Perry. And Rodney Thomas can run into the end zone. And that is just the 5th rushing touchdown that the Pittsburgh Steelers have allowed in 1997.
Aldo Greco will attempt the extra point. It is good. And Tennessee moves up 10-3 over Pittsburgh. We'll be back with a kickoff in a moment. Who just scored the touchdown, his 3rd of the year, is on the kickoff team.
The more you can do, Charlie, the more you can do.
Aldo Greco will kick it away. Dropped and picked up the 15-yard line by Andre Coleman. Coleman, nice stutter step move, avoids a couple of tackles. Ashton's a pretty good return for the Steelers. Christmas weekend on NBC. They have been spotted in Memphis and more on that story film after this play.
Spotted twice a day.
That's right, at 11 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon. We'll be back with the Duck Report. Cordell Stewart. Pass is complete, goes to the far side to Charles Johnson, and here's the Duck Report direct from the Peabody Hotel in downtown. This is a great tradition here, the Duck Walk.
Yeah, they have a room of their own up on the top of the Peabody Hotel. Twice a day they come down.
Their own elevator comes down.
Swim around in the pool, yeah. Yeah, there's mothers. There's babies down there. They celebrate, swim around a few times, take the elevator back up. I wonder who dries their feet.
I know it's the duck life.
You can buy duck soap. You can buy duck everything in that hotel.
And the Oregon Ducks won yesterday in the Las Vegas Bowl. Is that right?
And duck with plum sauce is one of my favorite meals.
Not in the hotel.
No. They have fried chicken.
They don't joke about that, do they?
They have fried chicken. No duck available at the Peabody Hotel.
Meanwhile, we're not ducking any issues here because of that old measurement by the officials. 8:39. That is the time remaining in the first half. It is still raining, as you can see. Tennessee 10, Pittsburgh 3.
Now we're looking at his offense out there with his all-pro center gone, his starting left tackle gone, his Pro Bowl fullback out of the game.
Little play action fake by Stewart. Comes out throwing, comes back to the near side, and we've got a flag. Mark Bruner, the intended receiver. And checking the ticker, Tampa Bay leading Chicago as we have the other scores going by. Giants continue to shut out Dallas. This will go against the defense. Cincinnati still shutting out Baltimore. Boomer Esiason keeps on doing it.
On the defense, number 29, 5 yards, automatic, first down.
What is the inside on Boomer? Is he going to be back next year?
Oh, I think so. I don't think the Cincinnati Bengals can function without him. He and Corey Dillon.
What a difference he's made.
Oh, it made a world of difference, yeah.
We had that first game in Cincinnati. Was it Jacksonville that he came out and played so well?
Yes.
So quick, picked up the tempo and
not a secret weapon, but a weapon who has reemerged as a weapon.
Stewart, as pressure, just drops this one off. McAfee out of the backfield and another flag. Play will go to the 49-yard line in Tennessee, but we'll go back to check out the marker.
I think they're going to get Will Wolford, number 77. He's out there on the screen, but grabbed a hold of a defensive back.
Renee Stewart with the tackle, holding against the Steelers. And Joe Bowden, the outside left linebacker for the Oilers, is the injured player at the 45-yard line.
During the run, holding offense number 77. 10 yards, still first down.
Don Wolford.
Now you're going to see this thing set up, and it's Wolford right here, and he grabs a hold of Darrell Lewis, 29, grabs him by the jersey, kind of shoves him down to the ground. And Cordell's reaction is, who did it? What are you talking about? There was no holding there.
I didn't see it. But the officials did.
Yeah, Wolford, one of those spectacular additions to this offensive line. Played almost his entire career as a tackle. Comes in here to play guard, and he's fit in perfectly. Bowden to the sideline, one of their great linebackers. Very active, big, strong tackler, but can cover an awful lot of ground. And there's nothing worse than the last game of the season, when your season's over, to have an injury and you walk to the sideline thinking, oh man, I don't want any surgery, I don't want any injuries, just leave me alone. And of course, Cowher's got as many problems. He's got Dermontti Dawson in the locker room with a very bad calf, and Jim Sweeney hurt.
First down. Stewart throws, it is incomplete, and the Steelers are running to the playoffs.
Yeah, interesting. These two teams are 2 of 7 who have more rushes than passes. Here are the 7 teams. You see their collective numbers, 72, 32, and 1. Now, the interesting thing about those teams is that if you look at the success of more rushes than passes, it does lead you to the playoffs. There are 4 division playoffs, and Tennessee is the only team in the NFL with more rushes than passes not in the playoffs, Charlie.
And you have the thought goes through your mind that Johnson and Cordell were changing the play just amongst themselves, and a flag is down. They simply may have run out of time, or there would be a motion call.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 87. 5 yards, still second down.
That's Mark Bruner, the tight end, at the top of the screen.
Yeah, he does come out early. They're trying to run a sweep, and he's trying to get just a half a step to block the defensive end, and he's caught. Now, back to the last graphic. 6 playoff teams of the 7. Tennessee's the only one out. 4 of the teams have won the division, and 2 wild card teams. That's 6 of 12 playoff teams have more rushes than passes. You think that's not the formula for success in the NFL? Cowher knows that. So does Jeff Fisher.
Second down and 25. 3-man rush. Stewart has a lot of time. This one is incomplete. He was avoiding the loss.
There's a flag down. He was throwing it to the fullback.
It'll be a holding call against Tennessee. A defensive hold. And remember, that was 2nd and 25.
Holding on the defense, number 96. 5 yards and an automatic first down.
Costly penalty called against Gary Walker.
Yeah, the fullback, John Whitman, was the intended receiver. Boy, does that get the Pittsburgh Steelers out of a jam.
Yes. They were looking at 3rd and 25.
Absolutely, they were.
Now they have a first down at their own 34-yard line. Tennessee leads by 7. Steelers have been penalized 3 for 20, as you saw Tennessee's numbers. Fred McAfee getting the call. George Jones got the start. Jerome Bettis is on the inactive list. Simply so he can get physically well. Bumps and bruises and ankle and ribs and his shoulder and everything.
Just get him well.
Get him well.
Yeah. You can certainly see the difference in the attitude of this Pittsburgh offense without Jerome Bettis. I mean, they're running more to the corner. When Bettis is in there, it's hammer right between the tackles. It's an entire change of personality.
The Oilers have been penalized 5 times in the ballgame, 4 times. The penalty has given the Steelers a first down. McAfee to the outside. He is strung out by Tennessee and then dropped by Lemansky Hall.
But again, the bounce outside. You know, you normally see Jerome Bettis just pound it right up there in the middle. Also, with Dermontti Dawson missing. They're not going to come close to that 159 yards per game average. And of course, there's Tennessee with Eddie George out of the ball game, not playing. We're not sure why. He's fine. I kind of thought it would be each team rushed the ball 50 times today.
Well, Jeff Fisher did say earlier this week that he wanted to look at a lot of players. He wanted to get down into his backups to start making evaluations now as for what they need to do during the offseason. Stewart throws incomplete, almost intercepted. It was tipped.
Charlie, looked like it was Lemansky Hall who may have tipped it. See if we can pick up. No, it's 91 who is going to end up tipping in here. That's Josh Evans. 91 gets his hand up, just tips the ball away, and C.J. Johnson was open.
Josh Miller will kick it away. Derek Mason is the return man. Mason takes it back over his shoulder, heads to the far side, has a block at the corner, is out to the 30 and down the sideline. Pretty good return. But McAfee takes him out of bounds. Back in a moment. For the doubleheader, you just saw the promo on it. That's going to be a good one. The New York Jets and the Detroit Lions. Win and you're in the playoffs. Steeler fan. An ageless Steeler fan, you might say. Play action fake, rolling to the right is McNair, and he unloads this one deep, tripping, falling, no flag, incomplete.
Well, no, one says no flag, the other one says interception.
Whoa.
Well, now they're ruling it an interception. I believe it was Darren Perry, Charlie, who comes up with it. No, I don't think I'm right. I think it's number 30. That's Chad Scott who comes up with it.
All right, let's see what happened.
That is a real heave by Steve McNair. Is it Chad Scott? Yeah, it is Chad Scott. Looked like there was a little push there by Chad Scott.
There's pushing and tripping both.
Yeah, got Willie Davis out of the way. Scott comes up with the interception.
What I'm assuming when the official was giving these, he gave the incomplete signal. I'm assuming that he was saying that's not a foul.
Well, maybe so. Maybe so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I thought, he gave the incomplete signal, but it is the interception. Steelers to the ball. Leaning in the middle is Fred McAfee. He goes to the 21-yard line.
So now Pittsburgh has 2 giveaways. The Oilers have 1.
The Steelers' average start of the ball game has been their own 27-yard line. They're not quite that far out. The Oilers have started as an average on their own 48.
There's Chad Scott on the sideline for the Steelers with his second interception of the season.
That Oiler average, of course, was helped immensely by that interception at the beginning of the ball game when they started at the Steelers' 16. Pass is complete, coming to the near side. Yancey Thigpen at it. Darrell Lewis with the tackle.
Charlie, if there's one guy that has helped Cordell Stewart develop, it's Yancey Thigpen. Remember, in '95, he had 85 catches for 1,300 yards, 96 just 12 catches, suffered from a pulled hamstring all season long, and now this year, 6 100-yard receiving days, going to the Pro Bowl, 73 catches coming in today, 1,300 yards. Boy, is that a pressure relief valve for the quarterback.
And McAfee gets the call. In case you're wondering about Thigpen's numbers, he has 2 receptions for 37 yards already in the ballgame.
Yeah, Thigpen is bigger when you see him in person. He doesn't look that big because of all of those big guys out there. He is a big, strong receiver, loves bump and run. And when you defense Pittsburgh with Jerome Bettis in there and everybody healthy, you can't really single cover Charles Johnson and Yancey Thigpen. And if you help cover them, that only leaves 7 to stop the run on the inside, and that's why the Steelers offense has been so successful.
Second down. Stewart rolling on the play action, and he's going to keep and just going to cruise for the first down as he goes out near the 50-yard line. Hall in hot pursuit.
And Charlie, we mentioned Thigpen, the biggest catch of the season so far. This 4th down reception by Thigpen against New England. Sensational catch. Here's the more important bit of information. Both feet are inbounds. Bill Cowher told us last night, everyone gives credit to Thigpen, but I want you to know that that was the third receiver in the progression. So Cordell Stewart went through the 2 on the strong side, comes back to the weak side, and hits the outlet receiver. That's how much Cordell has learned about this offense.
McAfee is shut down. He's going to lose a couple of yards on the play. As far as first downs are concerned, the Steelers have 10 and Tennessee 3.
But the score is 10-3 Tennessee.
Yes. And Cordell 6 of 15, 87 yards, no touchdowns, and an early interception.
You know, he was drafted. Everybody said, well, you know, Cordell Stewart, more of an athlete than anything else. And they held that against him. Now, as a player, starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they are his greatest assets. All the athletic things he can do.
John Whitman takes the handoff. Maybe a yard. That's going to be about it. When we talked with Cordell Stewart, one of the things that you asked him, you know, how do you assess the season? He said, I'm not content, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
I thought that was well stated. I'm not content, but I'm happy.
Yeah, he also said the thing he was proudest of is the team's success and the wins. Because he told us, look, I did not want to be a clipboard quarterback. Stand there on the sideline and watch the other team's numbers. I wanted to be on the field. He said, I'm continuing to learn that this is the spot I love.
Third down. Incomplete. Johnson, the intended receiver, and Hall was there. He also said, he being Cordell Stewart, that the fact that he played along the way, that he was slashed, that he was in the games, that he saw how fast things move, that he was the short yardage, he was a red zone quarterback. He did some things so that this year he felt like he had been there before in a lot of cases. So he wasn't starting at ground zero.
Yeah, I thought that was a great point of view. And Bill Cowher said, you know, because Cordell Stewart is now the starter, all the older players on the team, they're his big brother. They've all taken him under their wing.
Here's the kick. Derek Mason is the return man. Calls for the fair catch and takes it at the 9-yard line. And the wind continues to whip around here at the Liberty Bowl. 2:16 time remaining first half. Tennessee leads by 7. Offense thus far today.
Not much. They have 3 first downs and 10 points, and the 10 points have come off the 2 turnovers. It's been a while since we've seen Eddie George. He is on the bench. Again, the report is Eddie George is fine, but Jeff Fisher's choice is to get a good long look at Rodney Thomas. It's not something that Jeff Fisher intimated to us yesterday when we talked to him, or day before yesterday in Nashville.
And here is Rodney Thomas. Finds a bit of a hole, slides through out near the 19-yard line, maybe the 18. We got 8 or 9 yards on the play. And he is stopped by Darren Perry. And we'll now have the 2-minute warning given to both benches. Clock is stopped, and we'll be back on the Domino's Pizza NFL and NBC halftime report. Greg Gumbel, Chris Collinsworth, Joe Gibbs, Sam White. And we'll bring you up to date on all the day's happenings around the NFL, plus a conversation with Jets cornerback Otis, my man, Smith. And speaking of scores in the rain and what is going on around the league and what they'll be talking about at halftime. In this game, they'll talk about the weather.
Yeah, the umpire protecting one of the 36 balls the NFL makes available for every game.
Here are the scores. Minnesota leading Indianapolis 23-10. Washington in front of Philadelphia 28-14. Kansas City now 12-0 over New Orleans. Chiefs have home field all the way. Tampa Bay in front of Chicago 21-7. Giants now 20-0 over Dallas.
How about that quarterback sneak?
Yeah.
Did you see?
That's a huge quarterback sneak.
Steve McNair just slid along the line of scrimmage until he found a spot, and then I'll get upfield. Just like Cordell Stewart.
Yep.
Great athlete playing quarterback. You don't know what either one of these young men are going to do next.
McNair 6'2", 230 pounds. Has the first down at the 22-yard line. Ronnie Thomas made a lot of moves before he even got to the line of scrimmage. Is that good or bad?
Well, he didn't have any choice because, again, there was a run blitz, and Levon Kirkland at 265 pounds, untouched. That made Rodney alter his course a little bit. 4 first downs and 10 points. That's a very efficient offense for Tennessee.
78 total yards thus far in the first half. And we have a timeout taken on the field, stopping the clock now.
In case you're wondering, Bill Cowher did tell us that Cordell Stewart would play a half. And then it's Mike Tomczak. He does not want to take a chance with Cordell getting hurt. Jim Haslett on the right of Bill Cowher. First year as a defensive coordinator, has done a spectacular job. This Steeler defense has plugged a lot of new guys into this lineup and kept going. And Greg Lloyd is hurt. They lose Kevin Green a couple 3 years ago. They've lost a lot of guys, but they keep functioning, and Haslett has done an extraordinary job.
Second down, Tennessee. They lead in the ball game by 7, 10-3. McNair reverses his field, has the first down, and hurdles the bench. Just as an explanation point at the end of the run.
Charlie, remember when he told us he has watched a lot of tape of Cordell Stewart. He says the two of us are very similar, except Cordell is a lot faster. He does not mind running one bit. When he was in college at Alcorn State, he played the shotgun. He just kind of stood back there and chucked it. But as you said, he's close to 230 pounds. Big, strong kid, and will put it on the line for his teammates when they need some extra yards. He's more than happy to run.
First down, Tennessee, minute 10, time remaining first half. Comes to the near sideline.
Dropped.
No good. Derek Mason, the intended receiver.
Brings up second down at 10 from the 37.
McNair, 4 of 10, 28 yards, 1 interception. Neither quarterback's throwing stats have been that good. Their running stats are pretty good.
Well, but in this weather, these conditions, last game of the season, not bad. Not great, but not bad.
3 carries, 29 yards rushing. He's the number 2 rusher for the Oilers, and Stewart's the number 2 rusher for the Steelers. This one may have been trapped, and it was. It will be incomplete.
And that ball was intended for Frank Wycheck, who is a tight end. And if there is a problem with this Oiler offense, with the great running game that the Oilers possess with Eddie George, good call, Charlie. It did skip. If they could get more production out of their wideouts as opposed to throwing to the tight end, they'd be a much better threat on offense. But they just can't get the numbers out of their wideouts. Their tight end has 61 catches by himself, and their 2 starting wideouts have 72 between them.
Third down and 10. McNair changes the play. Steelers drop out of the blitz. Nice touch over the middle. Has a man wide open inside the 30, and down around the 25-yard line is Derek Mason. Oilers will stop the clock after that 39-yard gain. They still have 48 seconds to work with.
This is an awful nice pattern. Mason does an excellent job here. He's going to come in motion, and it looks like he's running a crossing pattern, but then he turns up. There's good protection for Steve McNair. He waits on this pattern to develop. And you see the zone coverage by Pittsburgh. It's double zone, corners up, safeties out. And that's a great throw by Steve McNair for a big pickup. And they take the timeout to get points here at the end of the first half.
Oilers with 1 timeout remaining, already well within the range of Al Del Greco, who is hit from 51 and 52 yards. Although in conditions, these type of conditions will take 10 yards off of that distance.
Sure, absolutely. That was an awful nice play. I like that one. Good.
And that was an automatic. He went to and he called it. It was a hand call.
Yeah. Good patience shown by Steve McNair there. Latter stages of the half, you get a little excited, especially with consider the fact that this is McNair's 16th start in the NFL.
So in reality, the end of his rookie season as a starter. Here comes the blitz. Picked up nicely. Good protection. Pass is right on target. Credit the offensive line and his backs. They picked up everybody coming. Well done. Willie Davis with the reception. Randy Fuller with the tackle. Meanwhile, the Steelers were offside.
It'll be declined. They'll take the play, I'm sure. But Charlie, you were absolutely correct. It came with a blitz, but watch the job they do picking everyone up. Just stand right in there. Good job done by Thomas, number 20. It's a delay inside. And Fuller is just late getting there. Nice pickup. Oilers drive stays alive.
The Oilers 2 of 2 in the red zone today with a field goal and a touchdown. At the 15-yard line, 41 seconds, time remaining. Still have a timeout left. Four-man rush. Pass is completed at the 10-yard line, coming back underneath the coverage. Chris Sanders has it, and Bell makes the stop.
And a hurry-up play here called by Steve McNair. Get everybody set to the line of scrimmage. Either has a set play or just down the ball. Just throws it into the ground.
I don't understand that. And I tell you what I don't understand. He motions people. He loses 3 or 4 seconds right at the end. Why didn't he go with it quicker?
Well, you have a standard setup for your offense. And he had too many guys on the line of scrimmage. The quarterback's job is to make sure, look around, make sure everybody's set in the right spot. Not necessarily exactly the right spot, but not moving. And then you go up underneath center, put the ball on the ground. You want to save that last timeout for the kick. So I would guess that this would be a throw, not a run.
Into the end zone.
Into the end zone.
All right.
Take one shot at it.
5-step drop into the end zone. It's there. Knocked away. Whoa.
So close.
Should have been caught. Let's look at that again.
Again, Charlie, it's the out and up run by the tight end right here. He's going to make a little move out and then up at the end of the end zone. And Darren Perry, 39, is right underneath Wycheck. Just can't quite hang on.
Can't quite get there. Nice touch, though. There's just a delicate little touch on that pass.
Steve McNair saying, oh, what could I have done better? How could I have made that completion?
29-yard field goal attempt by Al Del Greco. He is hit from 34 yards out. Readjustment on the snap. Dave Craig, the holder. It is good.
Dave Craig does a great job. Now, for a guy who was known for most of his career as soap dish hands because of all the fumbles, he does a great job of setting that thing down, getting it on the point. That is an outstanding job done by Dave Craig.
And something else. And Al Del Greco does something else. He starts his motion and he doesn't hesitate. I mean, he's counting on Craig's. You got to correct it by the time I get there.
Yeah, well, Craig did.
Yeah, he did. He did a great job.
Dave Craig has not been a holder for field goals and extra points for a lot in his career. But I think now in, what is it, his 32nd year in the NFL, he's willing to do anything that anyone wants of him. I'm joking. I shouldn't kid about Dave Craig. It is, in fact, his 18th year in the NFL.
You know, it's interesting because Dave Craig is the holder. He has small hands, and has small hands for a quarterback, and also has fumbled a lot because of that. And yet here the hands, save the 3 points.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding. When his nickname for his years at Seattle and in Kansas City and Detroit, soap dish. His hand was like a soap dish.
Andre Coleman and Will Blackwell are the deep backs on the return. this would just be covered around the 28-yard line. And be sure to stay with us at halftime for the Domino's Pizza NFL halftime report. Greg Gumbel, Joe Gibbs, Chris Collinsworth, Sam White, and all the scores and highlights. They'll update everything that is going on, and also they'll be updating the playoff picture, and they'll be talking with your friend Jets cornerback Otis.
My man Smith. Actually, he's a friend of a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL. He either gets them or they get him. He either intercepts it or they score over him.
And the Steelers will take the kneel down, and we'll take the official countdown to halftime. And at halftime, it is Tennessee 13, Pittsburgh 3. And right now, let's go direct to Greg. Rain. It was raining very hard at the beginning of the ballgame, and kind of leveled off, and it started raining a little bit more at the end of the first half. And Tennessee will have an opportunity to move on offense to start the second half. Rodney Thomas, one of the two deep backs. Derek Mason is the other. And this is fielded at the 1-yard line by Rodney Thomas. And Thomas is going to return it out near the 20-yard line where Fred McAfee makes the tackle as we take a look at the Coors Light halftime stats.
The turnovers for Pittsburgh resulted in 10 of the 13 points for the Oilers. Time of possession clearly in favor of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think Cordell Stewart's done for the day. Steve McNair continues to be the quarterback for the Oilers, but I don't see Eddie George in there. He had 6 carries for 6 yards in the first half. And I think the only concern that Bill Cowher has is how is Dermontti Dawson, their center, left in the first half?
George is in.
Yeah, now he's in there.
He is in there now to start the second half. Play action fake. Buys time. Goes deep down the middle. It is dropped. Willie Davis. Oh, he'll remember that the whole offseason.
Charlie, my only explanation is that ball must have been addressed to somebody else.
Ooh.
He goes right. He goes right by the cornerback who trips, and look at the adjustments he's trying to make.
Right there. Oh.
See, there are a lot of receivers who get so used to catching the ball with their body, they forget to catch the ball with their hands. Fundamentally awful by Willie Davis.
Oh, his quarterback just hangs his head. Oh, how can you do that?
Again, same thing.
Oh, this one is overthrown. At least they gave him another chance.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure if I'm not Steve McNair, I'll make him run another one.
I would too.
This is.
I'm watching. Well, no, he's on step on the sideline.
This is a stop and go, and he goes right by Randy Fuller. This one's slightly overthrown, and McNair may go back in the huddle and say,
"Where's Willie Davis again? Where is he?"
Yeah, you're going to do it again.
Somebody tough because he's on the sideline.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, there he is.
I'd make him go out there and run another pattern 40 yards deep.
I would too. Meanwhile, it's third down. This one is complete, and it's going to be close to the first down, and it may simply be there for Frank Wycheck. The tight end with 61 receptions coming into the ball.
But Charlie, once again, here's Wycheck right over here. The tight end runs a nice pattern, but this has been one of the big problems the Tennessee Oilers offense has had. This is the guy who catches it. So that's the guy that McNair throws it to. You get Willie Davis out here wide open, he can't catch it. Once they stretch the defense a little bit with some threat at wide receiver, this offense will be better than it is now.
And will open up more for Eddie George.
Absolutely.
For a couple of years.
Yeah, and I think what Jeff Fisher and his staff understand is they have to somehow spread the defense. See how the Oilers have done. The turnovers resulted here and here in 13 points, and then the field goal at the end of the first half. But the more they're able to spread the defense out next year, the more room that Eddie George is going to have. So their focus in the offseason is find some receivers who will threaten the defense and can catch it.
Second down. Eddie George again. Kind of lost his balance as he's made his cut right at the line of scrimmage. Will fall forward for 2 or 3 yards. Earl Holmes and Jerry Osefsky. There was a tackle. 8 carries, 11 yards. It's not a very productive afternoon in the rain.
No, and the last time these two teams met, Eddie George had just 29 yards rushing. He is one of the biggest running backs, one of the most well-built running I think I've ever seen in my life. 6'3", 230.
3rd down 5. Oilers shift, motion, then set, reset. Comes back right over the middle. Pass is complete. It looks as if it's going to be shy of the 1st down.
Joey Kent was the receiver, runs the delay, and doesn't get to the 1st down marker. We'll blame that on the fact that he is a rookie. He should know better. And we're going to measure just to see how close it might be.
The Steelers don't think it's close because they're sending their punt return team in.
Yeah, well, actually, neither do the Oilers. Their offense is leaving the field. McNair is staying there, though.
I'll hang around just in case they need me. It's a lot closer. It is.
It is a 1st down. Well, Steve McNair was right hanging around.
Of course. Now he goes back to the huddle and says, all right, where was everybody?
Yeah. And you don't
And to their fans.
Yeah, how much they expended up there in New England.
McNair comes back, goes on the run, and it is incomplete. We've had several injuries in the ballgame, and we want to give you definitive reports, but we mentioned this earlier in the 1st half that due to the weather and the rain and everything, that the sideline phones are out, and so we do not have that information being fed up to us. But we have sent we've delegated a runner to the locker rooms to see what they can find out and bring that information back from the trainers or from the team doctor.
Yeah, Dermontti Dawson for the Steelers, their all-pro center, is the most serious injury. Jim Sweeney also hurt, the starting right tackle.
Here's the draw. Rodney Thomas, the ball carrier. He's going to pick up a couple of yards on the play, and that's going to be about it. We move forward now to 3rd down.
Interesting, when we talked to Bill Cowher last night, he said the toughest thing about this football team is picking an MVP.
Yes, wasn't that interesting?
Yeah,
he said, I don't vote, and I'm glad I don't vote, and immediately named half a dozen possibilities.
Yeah, the players have to come up with it. He said he thought Carnell Lake in his combination playing corner and safety was the defensive player of the year. He said, but I don't know who the most valuable player on this team is.
Showing blitz and jumping into it, and we've got flags flying on the far side.
Yeah, it looked to me like the right tackle, John Runyon, rolled out of his stance with that threat of a blitz.
Prior to the snap, ball start, offense. Number 69, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
You're right, it is Runyon.
And
that's hard to hold that stance, isn't it, when they jump into that blitz and step in? And
absolutely. And of course, you know, he's out here by himself, and he's listening for the snap, and you see all the movement, and you're trying to get just a little step, and all of a sudden, bam, you just rock out of there. And that's part of the design of the defense. Move late, disrupt the offense's thinking.
only a 4-man rush, showing blitz and stepping out of it. And McNair has it up the middle. Cuts to the far side, needs 4 or 5 more yards, slides. Let's see where they give him the mark. It's where the ball is when he starts to slide. Oh, they gave him a healthy mark to the 45.
Looks like there's a late flag too, Charlie.
And of course, as long as he slides and he is protected.
But now, wait a minute.
There is no foul on the play.
Yeah, he's running.
First down. It is not a late hit. Not a late hit.
Yeah, Charlie, when he breaks out of the pocket and tucks that ball in and gets outside the tackles, now the rules change a little bit. You can't take a cheap shot at him, but when he slides here, when he slides, you know, he's just like a running back. You can't protect the quarterback out there, give him special rules outside the pocket.
First down at the 45-yard line. Eddie George. He is dropped by Earl Holmes. Offensively, they being the Steelers, have shut down Eddie George this year.
Well, they've shut down a lot of people.
Yes,
In fact, go back to December 1, 1996, a string of 18 straight football games. That is the last time an opposing running back went over 100 yards against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Only 2 teams in 1997 as a team have rushed for more than 100 yards. That was Kansas City and Cincinnati.
And that Van Morris is a load. We saw him against the Redskins.
Some weeks he's a load. Some weeks he's a load.
Oh, that's true. When we saw him, he certainly was.
Yes.
Losing yardage. Henry makes the tackle.
And now see what's happening here is when Eddie George is in the ball game, and this is what the Oilers are facing, you're looking at 9, sometimes 9, most of the time 8 guys at the line of scrimmage to prevent Eddie George from really breaking loose. And that's why if there's one critical thing offensively is get some threat at wide receiver to keep that 8th guy away from the line of scrimmage to allow more room for Eddie George to run.
3rd down and 15. Thomas, the remaining back. Incomplete.
Great coverage, Chad Scott.
Chad Scott breaks it up.
I mean, he did a wonderful job waiting to the absolute last second. Gets his hand out there in front of the receiver.
Derek Mason.
And knocks the ball away. Yeah, the left arm behind the receiver, part of the contact. Sometimes that's allowed, sometimes not. But that was great coverage.
Something else, Rodney Thomas picked up a blitzer.
Yeah.
He's a good blocker back there.
Yes, he is.
Reggie Roby will be kicking. Will Blackwell is the return man. Flag is down. Fair catch taken at the 10-yard line. The flag was dropped back at the 50-yard line. 40 yards on the kick with no return. We have 8 minutes and 40 seconds time remaining here in the 3rd quarter. And the call. Steelers were offsides. Oilers will refuse it.
Offsides, defense number 29. The penalties decline. 1st down.
So the Steelers will have a 1st down at their own 10-yard line with 8 minutes and 40 seconds left in the 3rd. And the Steelers trail by 10. Is now moving on offense from their own 10-yard line. And Mike Tomczak is now the quarterback. Cordell Stewart is finished for the day. Tomczak has completed 8 of 13 passes for 96 yards on the season. 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. And he turns and hands off to George Jones.
Now, certainly nothing wrong with Cordell Stewart, but this is to protect him for the playoffs. There's Cordell on the sideline, 6 of 16, 87 yards in the interception, 5 rushes, 20 yards. It's a good thing they get the week off. They've gotten some injuries today, Charlie, that some players are going to need 7 to 10 days to recover from.
And we have a report on 3 of them. The first one, Dermontti Dawson, a calf strain, and he is out for the rest of the ball game. I'll give you the other 2 in a moment.
That's the most important one, though.
Tomczak's pass to the near side is complete. He goes to Charles Johnson, and this should pick up the 1st down. Bernard Walker with the tackle. Jim Sweeney, the report is he has a knee sprain, and he is out. And the tight end Mark Bruner has a foot sprain, and he is out.
Yeah, so those are 3 key injuries, all on the offensive line. And Pittsburgh considers their tight end receiver, but first he's a blocker on the offensive line. So 3 injuries to the same general bunch. Not a good thing to deal with.
1st down, Pittsburgh. Jones to the right side, out to the 21-yard line. In the 1st half, here is a comparison of Cordell Stewart and Steve McNair.
Neither with great numbers. The 1 interception by Cordell Stewart. Neither have really been a factor, although in the 2nd half here, McNair's had a couple of nice runs.
Both of them, though, went long and almost, almost effectively, but they weren't able to complete it.
Yeah, the Steelers early stages of the game tried to get a couple of cheap ones. Had 2 receivers open, 1 dropped, 1 overthrown.
And then in the 2nd half, the Oilers tried the same thing and were equally unsuccessful. Pass is complete wide to the far side. Out about the 36-yard line. That should be the spot of the reception. Darrell Lewis bringing down Yancey Thigpen.
Now we have him on the pattern. One of the best there is in the game,
yards,
Charlie.
Yes.
Nice long stride. Where's John Stallworth's number? Not quite as physical as Stahl was when he played with the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the 70s and the 80s. But a very athletic receiver. Great hands. Look at the yards per catch. 16 yards per catch today. And on the season, Thigpen has averaged 18 yards a catch.
Has a total of 48 yards today. Meanwhile, George Jones has carried the ball 11 times and rushed for a total of only 16 yards. He's going to get another shot at it here.
Well, Thigpen, one of those Pro Bowlers. Dermontti Dawson hurt. He's on the sideline. Bettis recovering. He's on the sideline. Everybody else is playing. Joel Steed is first. Dermontti Dawson, the best center in the league. Bar none, no question. Not even a close second. Well, I take it back. The second best center in the league may be the left guard for the Tennessee Oilers, Bruce Matthews. Made the Pro Bowl at center when they were down at Houston, but he's now playing guard.
And he's played every spot, every position in that offensive line. Here's the draw, George Jones. He's not going anywhere. Matt Lyons makes the tackle. Tampa Bay had 7, Pittsburgh 6, Green Bay 6, Kansas City had 6. What a surprise Tampa Bay. Tony Dungy's done a great job there, hasn't he?
Well, with Allstott, Warren Sapp, both kickers.
Yeah, but they had to turn around an attitude. They had to change an attitude of a team and of a city.
Oh, he's done a great job. You can't shortchange what Tony Dungy's done, and he and Bill Cowher were assistants under Marty Schottenheimer in Kansas City for several years.
3rd down and 13. Tomczak from the shotgun. Incomplete at the 48-yard line. Looking for the flag, begging the flag, going in search of an official. Yancey Thigpen.
It did look like the cornerback kind of spun his shoulder.
May have been right, yeah.
I think it's Darrell Lewis, number 29. It's over on the left-hand side. See if we can pick up what happens.
George McCullough, I believe, 28.
Yeah, 28.
Yep.
It looked like he did have a hand on the shoulder. See if we can pick it up again on the in route. Does he spin him around? Puts his hand right on his helmet.
Sure he does. Derek Mason is the return man. Josh Miller is the kicker. Not a very effective kick. The Oilers will take over. They have the lead. 13-3. Back in a moment. Jones and Bob Trumpy as we wind up the season in Memphis. We wind it up for the Tennessee Oilers, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are just getting wound up as they head to the playoffs. The Oilers have the lead 13-3, and they have the ball at their own 42-yard line with a first down. McNair back to throw. Steps forward. He's going to run with it. Breaks clean. He's to the 40, 30. He's to the 20, and then taken out of bounds. And for somebody who says I'm not that fast, shows great speed. I think he underestimates himself.
Maybe underselling himself.
I think he may.
He has scored 8 touchdowns, and most of them in situations like this.
53 yards.
Good coverage by the Steelers. Tucks it away. See who can catch me. It takes a defensive back to catch up with him. And finally, Darren Perry gets him out of bounds. What did he tell us yesterday? I'm just looking to make big plays. And he could be the 100-yard rusher.
You're right.
Breaks that string of 18 games held by Pittsburgh.
11-yard line, first down. Eddie George cut off on the right side, slides back down. He'll pick up 3 or 4 yards on the play. So spotted at the 8-yard line. Osefsky with the tackle.
Again, there's been they've not allowed a 100-yard rusher. Only 2 teams have done it against them. That's Kansas City and Cincinnati, but no rusher since December 1st, 1996. Bam Morris, and could it be quarterback Steve McNair?
Team McNair himself.
Team McNair, yes.
Kent moves across in motion. Little play action fake. Nice touch, with those everybody. And they're waiting on a call. Does not get a flag. Here's an injury report on Joe Bowden. It is an ankle injury, and he is doubtful to return.
He's a linebacker for the Oilers. That ball intended for Roan, the tight end. Did well by Pittsburgh.
And that last jaunt by Steve McNair was his longest career run.
Actually, he has the longest run of the season for the Oilers too. The longest run by Eddie George is 30 yards.
Longest allowed by the Steelers and his longest of the career. That should be incomplete, and it will be. Derek Mason, the intended receiver. So the Steelers defense turns the Oilers away. They'll have to go with a field goal attempt, and McNair did not go with his strongest weapon, and that is himself. Derek Mason is the player who's down.
Jeff Fisher is going to go out. Play doctor. And Mason was the intended receiver. He ran the delay, and there was a collision.
We'll step aside for a moment. We have just over 3 minutes left to go in the third, and Tennessee leads by 10. That's good news for his family and friends and for the Oilers. Al Del Greco. This one is from 28 yards away. He is hit from 34 and 29 in the ball game. Meanwhile, Bill Cowher always coaching, always teaching on that sideline.
Sure, never stops. One of his greatest attributes.
High snap, pull down. Craig with the hole. He hits from 28 yards away. Tennessee leads it 16-3. 16 Pittsburgh 3. 2:57 left to go in the third.
Now, Charlie, for this team to finish, for the Oilers to finish 8-8 with all of these road games, even though they call this home in Memphis, is absolutely remarkable.
Coleman and Blackwell are the return men. Here's Will Blackwell to the 25, out to the 30. Returns to near the 35-yard line. 27 yards on that return. We'll be back in just a playoffs trailing in this ball game, but that's been hard for the course recently as they made the playoffs, and they always seem to lose their last game of the regular season when it simply doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, they've also had 3 overtime games in this 1997 season.
NBC tonight, first on Dateline. Out of control football fans. One stadium is fighting back. We were there. That was in Philadelphia with a court, judge, and a jail inside the stadium. And see how it's working. The timeless classic then of the whole family. The network premiere of Little Women after Dateline. That's on NBC tonight. And also when we were leaving the Kansas City game a few weeks ago, the police were escorting some rowdies out of the stands and into the paddy wagon and off to the Hooskow and those kind of terms. So what Philadelphia,
I endorse that.
What Philadelphia started, it may make its way around the league. I do too. You don't go to a ball game for that.
Sure. You want children here.
Yeah. You want families. Yeah. Tomczak has completed 2 of 3 for 35 yards. He's the quarterback for the Steelers in the second half. Here's the reverse. Will Blackwell ends up with the ball on the reverse, and he'll pick up about 4 yards on the play.
Pittsburgh now, Charlie, just putting some things on film for playoff opponents.
I love it.
It's going to go here and come back here. Tomczak tries to get a block here, kind of lays down in front of a defensive lineman right there. Well, actually, that was contact.
Hey, that's pretty good.
That was contact. But then quarterbacks, after they make that ball, they go into the fetal position.
But they get bonus. There's bonus money for blocks.
No, they don't.
No. Second down. Johnson is in motion, and then he's not. There's a straight shot at the middle for George Jones. About 5 yards on the play. Still a couple of yards shy of the first down.
And, of course, without Jerome Bettis playing at all today, you can see the 42 yards. And that's all because Bettis is not here. Came in with 159-1. We're looking at Chan Gainey, the offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he didn't have all of his guys there. Chan Gailey has been there, and there is the bus
Jerome Bettis inactive today, simply just to get him well.
Right, just save some miles, you know.
And I think he was inactive because if he was here in uniform, there'd be a tendency he'd jump in and want to play.
Yeah, he'd have snuck on the field.
Yeah. From the shotgun, a little behind the receiver, but caught by Yancey Thigpen. Nice reception.
I think
Keller with the tackle.
Charlie, I think the two best but little-known receivers in the league are Jimmy Smith of the Jacksonville Jaguars and Yancey Thigpen. Time after time you see him making a tough catch. I love those two guys in combination, and again that helps so much. The running game inside and the running of Cordell Stewart. Thigpen is one of the best.
And you saw the numbers, 4 receptions for 64 yards. And a late arrival.
Very late.
Everybody set? They get it off in time.
Well, now there was a late arrival too by the Tennessee Oilers. Steve Jackson ran on the field late. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 guys on the field right now for the Tennessee Oilers, and no flag is on the ground. Let me count again. 3, 6, 7, 9, 11. There's 12 guys on the field. There's no flag. And 24.
What is sneaking off to the near side?
Steve Jackson is leaving the field. There are 24 guys. There are 12 guys on the field. Now they throw the flag. Yeah, finally.
Yeah.
What are they doing by half? 1 half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4. It takes a while to get to 12.
No, you're counting the eyes and dividing by 2. It's. Now I got a question for you right after this call.
Too many men on the field against the defense. The penalty is declined. The result of the play was the first down.
Jeff, he is lobbying with the referee. Maybe he's saying, you know, Pittsburgh had 12.
They had 12. It's okay for me to have 12.
Last game of the season.
Last game of the season. Come on, Jeff.
Put 15 of them out there. We don't care.
If the Oilers could have just hung around and let, if the Steelers snapped the ball, then they don't have to worry about it again. All right, countdown, end of the 3rd quarter. 1 quarter left, and we'll be right back. See the one in the middle? That is the ghost of Christmas past.
I thought it was winking, blinking, and nod.
14 minutes and 18 seconds left in the season for the Tennessee Oilers. And that same amount of time left in the regular season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They, of course, will be moving on to the playoffs. Tomczak's pass is complete, coming back to the near side to Charles Johnson. Steve Jackson had the coverage and takes him out of bounds with him.
And Charlie, is there ever a contrast of starting quarterbacks to backup quarterbacks in this particular matchup? You have Cordell Stewart, athlete, quarterback, backed up by Tomczak, who is all quarterback. And on the Oilers sideline, you have Steve McNair, backed up by Dave Craig, an 18-year veteran, nothing but a quarterback. But these young kids, these starting quarterbacks, the next generation of the style of quarterback that'll be in the NFL.
Blitz is coming. Thigpen has it at the 24-yard line, and you could almost feel him getting antsy. He had to wait on it. It didn't get there as quickly as he wanted it to.
Yeah, boy, but a feather in the cap of Mike Tomczak. Steve Jackson, 24, comes untouched. Tomczak stands in there, follows through, makes the completion for the first down. Now that takes some guts. Tomczak hasn't been hit in a long time. He's staring right at the defensive back and still makes the completion.
Ball now, 22-yard line, first down.
That's the price that backup quarterbacks must pay.
Thus far, the Steelers have been held to a Norm Johnson 23-yard field goal.
Whoops.
Incomplete.
Yeah, miscommunication there. Tomczak and Thigpen not on the right page.
Here the Steeler quarterback. Stewart, of course, played the first half. 6 of 16, 87 yards and an interception. Tomczak with a hot hand here in the second half. 6 of 8, 59 yards. we saw the back of Cordell Stewart for a moment. Blackwell moving across in motion. Here's the draw to Jones. And they'll go to the 20-yard line. So a gain of 3 yards on the play. Steve Jackson with the tackle. We mentioned that the Steelers moving on into the playoffs. How far can they go? What is your assessment of this ball game?
Well, without the injuries today.
Yeah, assume that everybody is healthy.
If Dermontti Dawson is healthy, if Strelsick comes back at right tackle, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Kansas City Chiefs are the 2 picks. Because, one, they're the healthiest. I think the injury to Terrell Davis hurts Denver a great deal. They're both physical teams, Kansas City and Pittsburgh. Both have great defenses. And I think the wild card is the athletic ability of Cordell Stewart at quarterback.
This is the lateral. The quick lateral to Curtis Marsh, who was lined up as a halfback. He's a wide receiver. And they're just putting one more play on tape. So everybody in the playoffs get a chance to look at it.
Sure, from the shotgun, this is certainly a play that Cordell Stewart could run very well. It's kind of a form of what they used to run in Colorado. But they're going to send out the kicker. Almost worked. Good support by the Oilers defensive backs. Really gave the running back no place to go.
The Steelers could be headed for a showdown for the championship game, possibly at Arrowhead Stadium. As I understand it, I mean, there's so many different possibilities. This is a 36-yard field goal attempt by Norm Johnson. And it is good. And we will finish our playoff thought when we come back. Right now, we'll step aside. 5 minutes. That is the time remaining in the ball game. Tennessee leading 16-6. And to close my statements on Pittsburgh, that they have the home field advantage right behind Kansas City. If Kansas City falters, then the Steelers will have home field advantage. But I see a showdown in Arrowhead in the championship game of the Steelers and the Chiefs.
Wow.
Great ball game.
Wow. Yeah. Crystal ball time for Charlie Jones. Okay.
Yes. Rodney Thomas on the return out near the 30-yard line. Time now for Charlie's memory as we go back into time and games that I have covered. Then the Houston Oilers. It was the first year of the AFL championship game. The Los Angeles Chargers, the Houston Oilers, Jefferson Stadium in Houston. Jack Kemp was a quarterback for the Chargers. Oilers would win the AFL championship 24-16. Billy Cannon was the game's MVP. George Blanda completed 16 of 32 for 301 yards, and the winning player's share, are you ready for this? $1,016.42. 1,016.
Don't spend it all in one place.
Right. And that was the season of 1960, first season of the American Football League. And here is Eddie George, left side. And speaking of 1960, so long ago, what else was going on? And we have an Elvis sighting.
We do?
Yes. Coming up next. Eddie George for a couple of 3 more yards. Steelers continue to say great stature.
I got to make this comment.
What?
I have seen you travel in a shirt with a collar that big, and now I know where you bought it. You know, I didn't know that you could still buy those things, but at that visitor center, you bought one of those shirts.
Right. Yes, and I have the scarf too that goes with it. Rodney Thomas is the ball carrier. Flowers makes the tackle.
Were you an Elvis fan?
Oh, yes. Huge. Yes. In fact, when he came into, when he was, I was born and raised in Fort Smith, Arkansas, which is not too far from the other side of the state. And when he was inducted into the Army, it was at Fort Chaffee.
You went down there?
Oh, yes.
I was more of an Everly Brothers fan.
Well, they're good. They're good. You know, but they're not the team.
Good.
Not the team. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, Stephen Conley.
Now McNair tries to come out on the roll, and he's right there untouched. Conley is absolutely untouched, plays it perfectly. Big tackle.
And speaking of Arkansas, Stephen Conley attended the University of Arkansas.
You're an Elvis fan, huh?
Yes.
Long sideburns? Polyester?
Are you lonesome?
Stop it, Charlie.
I know.
Stop it right here.
Well, you do the Everly Brothers.
No, I don't.
Again, good protection. Throws into coverage. The flag is down. Pass is incomplete. 8 minutes and 40 seconds left. J.B. Brown was there for the Steelers. Isaac Bird, the intended receiver.
And I think the flag is going to be on J.B. Brown. He was hanging all over the receiver.
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 24. 5 yards, automatic, first down.
Chris Oldham.
That was away from the play. That was not in the direction of the receiver. Oldham upset.
Penalties today. Pittsburgh 4 for 25. Tennessee 6 for 45.
Well, you can see Bill Cowher wanted to win this game, but wanted to protect everybody. And wanted to win on a positive note, but that didn't happen. 2 weeks off to get ready for whomever they play in the playoffs.
And a large crowd here with a tremendous number of Steeler fans in attendance. And Eddie George simply cannot pop one loose for the Oilers as he has tried. Here's today's attendance. This is a season high here at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. 50,677.
And Charlie, let me tell you something about these Steeler fans. It's not if they'll go. If they can get tickets, they will go. Drive, fly, buses, trains, they don't care. They go.
And the road attendance, 73,000, 64, 60, 78. You're right.
They go.
They do. They do. They do. And they're great fun to see in the
Oh, yeah, they are.
The Tennessee Oilers, well, in 1999, they will have their new home, and that will be in Nashville. Oh, and we all look forward to this. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'll end 3 straight years of being on the road. The Oilers, when they play here in Memphis, get on the plane as a team, fly down here, fly back. Family members have to drive back, can't fly with the team. They got to move everything down here, everything back. In Nashville, the entire organization is in about 12 trailers. Not the best of circumstances, but they're going to finish 8-8. It's one of the most remarkable seasons I've come across in the 30 years I've been around the NFL. So
Eddie George is dropped. Olius Roy with the tackle. Kicker going by.
Eddie George on the day, not a very good performance. Why he played so sparingly in the second and third is beyond me.
Cincinnati by 3 over Baltimore in that ball game. Don't forget the second half of the doubleheader. And here's Eddie George rushing by quarters.
Yeah, so if it stands at those numbers in 2 games against the Steelers this year, he will have a grand total of 54 yards rushing.
George picked up the blitzing linebacker. Pass is incomplete. Short hopped on the far side. Skipped off of the turf.
And Bill Cowher, you could just run that clock. Get me out of here. I don't want any more injuries. I want to start thinking about the playoffs. Get this thing over.
Now, he did say they're going to go back and practice like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then take off Thursday, Christmas. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then come back next week. And I said, yeah, and about Friday, you'll be back in the office. He said, no, we're going skiing. The whole family is going to go skiing.
Yeah, his wife is going to have to chain him to that cabin up in the woods in eastern Pennsylvania to keep him there, too.
Here comes the blitz. Stepping away. Second man nails him as he gets the pass off. I'll tell you something now. Steve McNair is a horse back there.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
Now, the rules to protect the quarterback in the NFL have changed a little bit. They are offered a little more protection.
He doesn't need it.
Here's 27 who comes on the inside blitz. But one of the reasons why there are a lot of people who second guess those protections of the quarterback is the ability of players of his size to avoid that first sacker, stay on their feet, and at times come up with a completion.
Will Blackwell is the return man. Reggie Roby to kick it away. There's Blackwell. Fair catch taken at the 18-yard line. Just over 6 minutes left in the regular season. Back in a moment. Jones, Bob Trumpy, and we want to join the Pittsburgh Steelers and a Merry Christmas to those of you that have joined us this Sunday afternoon, and hope that you have a very wonderful holiday season. Play action fake by Tomczak. Comes up throwing, and he is right on target to Yancey Thigpen. Time now for the Miller Time game summary.
Stewart, 20 yards rushing, 87 yards passing. McNair a little better in the second half, 91 yards rushing.
And the unexpected stat is 157 yards rushing.
Yeah, just the third team this season, and I don't think the Oilers realize that Steve McNair has 97 and could be the first person to go over 100 yards rushing individually against Pittsburgh since December 1, 1996. Means nothing to Jeff Fisher. Want to win the game.
He's leading by 10. Tennessee up 16-6. Yancey Thigpen just has broken a Pittsburgh Steelers receiving record, with McAfee getting the call. He now has 6 catches for 84 yards, and single season all-time moves out in front of John Stallworth, now with 1,398 yards.
What's the chances of those two guys wearing the same number?
Isn't that it?
Yeah, 82. Buddy Dial. That was a lot of yards receiving back when Buddy Dial played.
Yeah.
You know that?
That's one of those. This record will stand forever.
Yes.
Second down. Tomczak has it wide open up the middle, and he slides at about the 45-yard line, 44-yard line.
Well, Tomczak doing his job here, trying to keep his wits about him and gain some yards, so that in case sometime in the playoffs there's a need for a backup quarterback, he's fresh, he's thrown a little bit, understands what's going on, and the team around him has some confidence in what he's doing.
Yeah. And his receivers have a lot of confidence in him. Yeah. He's been on target today.
Yeah, Tomczak doesn't run much, would prefer not running at all, and really should work on that hook slide. Not a thing of beauty.
First down, 45-yard line. Fred McAfee gets the call. Here is the playoff picture for the New York Jets and the Detroit Lions. They're meeting in the second half of the doubleheader. The Jets clinch a playoff berth with a win, and they're eliminated with a loss. The Lions clinch a playoff berth with a win, or a Redskins loss, or a Vikings loss. And that, of course, is the second half of the doubleheader. So stay with us as we will be following with that game. The Jets are at Detroit, where they are indoors.
The Jets are at Detroit, where Barry Sanders lives. That's the more important
And he is
thing.
going after that 2,000-yard rushing mark to become only the third man in history. Johnson down, back in a moment.
With Plymouth.
Doubleheader. Charlie Johnson, the injured player, is up along the sideline. Again, the phones are down with us because of the bad weather that we've had today, so we won't be able to get an immediate report. You know, obviously it looks better now that he is moving along, limping just a little bit, but we will have to wait and see if we get one before the game is over. Of course, if we do, we'll pass it immediately on to you. But the Steelers now, with moving on the 3-minute mark, time remaining, are beginning to take a lot of nicks and bruises and hits. Fred McAfee on the receiving end.
Charlie, here's the injury. Watch the right foot as the ball carrier is brought to the ground. You see Johnson's ankle turn to the right. He is up and walking around, and you mentioned the injuries. The most important, of course, is Dermontti Dawson, all-pro center. Jim Sweeney, a knee sprain. Mark Bruner, and we're not sure about Charles Johnson. As Charlie said, we'll give you a report, but that's 4 starters and very important players, all on offense.
Fred McAfee, as we'll check out the ticker, Minnesota in front of Indianapolis, Washington in front of Philadelphia by 10. Kansas City comfortably in front of New Orleans, as they will have also the week off before they start the playoff. Tampa Bay, they are in the playoffs. Giants are also in. Amazing story with the Giants and the Jets in New York. And Cincinnati has scored again. And I'm sure that everybody asks, why didn't they go to Boomer sooner?
Yeah, there are a lot of people asking that question.
2-minute warning will be given to both benches. It's Tennessee by 10. Back in a moment.
This is Kevin Henry. Here's the primary receiver, Dave Meggett. What happens as the quarterback drops back, you got a double blitz. Kevin Henry runs a loop. When Bledsoe comes back, he sets up, throws the ball out here. The interception by Kevin Henry was absolutely the key play of the season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That turnover, I think this was a lateral. It was ruled a forward lateral. But Kevin Henry has received so much attention, or even calling that interception close to the immaculate reception back in the 70s by Franco Harris. He can't get a moment's rest. But man, was that a monster play for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Fred McAfee on the right side as we go to New York for an NBA report.
All right, Charlie, NBA news, and it is bad news for Patrick Ewing and the New York Knicks. Ewing hurt his wrist in last night's loss in Milwaukee. He underwent surgery today here in New York. The wrist has torn ligaments. The New York Knicks are saying he is out for the rest of this season. The 35-year-old Ewing apparently done for the year. Let's go back to Charlie.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, he landed hard,
Oh,
too.
he did. This was going to be his year, I thought. I really did. Tomzak scrambles, throws on the run, and it is incomplete. The intended receiver is Blackwell, and he was nailed just as the ball got to him by Renee Stewart. Good defensive play by Stewart.
Well, if nothing else, the Tennessee Oilers have laid some licks on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Left an impression, even though they're not going to be in the playoffs, if they continue this score and win 16-6. Watch this hit. Blackwell doesn't expect it. Perfect timing by the defensive back, knocks the ball loose and puts the receiver on the ground.
And as you mentioned earlier, a win for the Oilers today. Their record will go to 8-8. The Steelers will go to 11-5. McAfee again. The Oilers have the ball and up and running with it. I believe that's George McCullough. Is it McCullough? No, it's Darrell Lewis, number 29.
Charlie, I could not pick up who popped the ball loose, but it's a little delay. A nice little sprint draw run by the Steelers. Looks like there are two guys that have their arms around him. 57 of the Tennessee Oilers. Lenoy Jones is the first one to make the contact, knocks the ball loose, and it bounces perfectly for Darrell Lewis. The big return, and that ensures the victory.
And a very nice return.
Watch how this ball bounces. Even though this is not
one-hopper.
This is not home to the Tennessee Oilers. The turf at the Liberty Bowl acted like it was home for the Tennessee Oilers.
So the Oilers have the ball at the Steelers' 45-yard line with 1 minute and 6 seconds left in their season, and they lead by 10 points, 16-6. 3 turnovers by the Steelers and 1 by the Oilers.
Yeah, we got the pigtail formation here. This is
kneel down time.
Expire. Yep.
And as much as anything, this is to avoid any more injuries to either ball club.
Well, at this point, the only concern for Bill Cowher is how quickly can Dawson get back? How quickly can Charles Johnson get back? Is he all right? Will Bettis recover in 2 weeks? Will Greg Lloyd be a factor for the playoffs? Still out with that infection in his ankle. So the Steelers have been relatively healthy throughout the season. It would be a great shame if in the last game of the season they lose 2 or 3 great players on offense. Bruner's another one that's hurt with a sprained foot.
Quick report on Charles Johnson. Twisted knee. Should be okay. That's the preliminary diagnosis.
Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers up of this game definitely need that bye week.
Yes.
Just to get good treatment on some very key players.
Now the updated AFC Central standings as we now know it. Pittsburgh 11-5, Jacksonville 10-5, Tennessee 8-8, Baltimore 6-8, Cincinnati 6-9. So Tennessee with a 500 record there. They wrap up their season here. And Pittsburgh, as we mentioned, they look forward now to the playoffs and open a bye week, get everybody healthy. They do need it.
Yeah, they really
do need it.
They did not need it coming into this week. They need it now.
And that is the key. You have to be healthy in the playoffs. Don't forget the second half of our doubleheader. The Jets are at Detroit, and they're standing by there, and we'll be going there in just a few minutes for that ball game.
That's a game I like to sit down and watch. I think I'm going to find
his sights on a return to the Super Bowl. And thanks to a ferocious defense led by linebackers Ted Johnson and Chris Slade, the Patriots have blitzed their way to the AFC East title and a wild card victory. But today they face the rabid Pittsburgh fans with their terrible towels, and a Steeler team that bears the stamp of young quarterback Cordell Stewart, plus a bruising ground attack built around the bus, relentless Jerome Bettis, and a potent defense led by the versatile Carnell Lake. It's a battle between the last two teams to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, each with the thirst to return. From Three River Stadium, the divisional playoffs, the Patriots and the Steelers. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pittsburgh. Tom Hammond and Randy Cross. This game not only a rematch of that overtime thriller 3 weeks ago, but also of a divisional playoff game 1 year ago in the fog at New England. And from the Pittsburgh standpoint, what a difference a year makes.
The Pittsburgh Steelers were really in a fog last year, especially on offense.